In 2020, construction workers in Siberia found a body. Not a human, not a bear, a woolly rhinoceros, completely intact, skin, fur, and a horn nearly a meter long. It had been buried underground for 40,000 years and looked like it died last week. Siberia is the largest natural graveyard of monsters on the planet. Thousands of animals are still frozen beneath the permafrost, animals we haven't found yet. And some of them lived here long before the woolly rhinos did. Back then, things were genuinely bad. Siberia today covers about 13 million square kilometers, bigger than all of North America. Winters hit -60. Barely anyone lives there. It's the kind of place where nature itself seems to say, "Don't come here." But 252 million years ago, this place was so hot that air temperatures regularly exceeded 50 degrees Celsius. Not in summer, always. And this wasn't just a rough climate, it was the beginning of the end of nearly everything alive on Earth. Because right here, beneath your feet, if you were standing in the middle of Siberia a 250 million years ago, the ground started to open up. Scientists call it the Siberian Traps, a beautiful name for the most destructive event in the history of life on Earth. Picture a volcano. Now picture thousands of volcanoes. Now picture all of them erupting at the same time for 2 million years without stopping. That's exactly what happened here. The lava covered roughly 4 million square kilometers, about 3 Indias stacked together. But the lava was the least of the problem, because along with it, so much carbon dioxide, sulfur, and methane got blasted into the atmosphere that the planet simply stopped being livable. Ocean temperatures rose 10 degrees. Acid rain burned the forest to the ground. Oxygen levels dropped so low that most animals couldn't breathe at elevations of even a few hundred meters. 96% of all species on Earth vanished. Not 50%, not 70%, 96%. This is called the Permian extinction. Everyone knows about the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Almost nobody talks about this, even though it was 7 times worse. But before all of that happened, before the ground tore itself apart, something ruled this land. One of the most terrifying predators in the history of the planet. And almost nobody has heard of it. Meet Inostransevia, named after Russian geologist Alexander Inostransevia, who first found its bones right here, in northern Russia near Arkhangelsk. This was not a dinosaur, it was a gorgonopsid, a group of animals that ruled the Earth before dinosaurs even existed. And if you think T-Rex was scary, Inostransevia would have looked at it like a light snack. Length, up to 3.5 meters. Weight, close to 500 kilograms. Speed, estimated up to 50 kilometers per hour. And then there were the fangs. 15 centimeters long, curved backward so that once prey was caught, it physically could not pull free. But the fangs aren't even the most unsettling part. What's unsettling is what it was. Inostransevia was a transitional form, somewhere between reptile and mammal. It was warm-blooded, possibly covered in something resembling fur, and almost certainly smarter than any dinosaur. It had a proportionally larger brain than anything else walking the Earth at that time. Its prey was Scutosaurus, an armored herbivore the size of a rhino covered in bony plates like a living tank, and Inostransevia hunted them routinely. This wasn't just a food chain, this was an ecosystem running at full volume, a few million years before everything here caught fire. Now, jump forward 240 million years. The Permian is over. Dinosaurs came and went. Siberia became something else entirely, an ice age. 50,000 years ago, Siberia was the mammoth steppe, a vast frozen savanna where millions of large animals roamed. That's not poetic exaggeration, literally millions. Genetic studies suggest there were anywhere from 5 to 10 million woolly mammoths alone. And they weren't even the scariest things here. Cave lions, 25% larger than modern lions, hunted in groups. Their cubs have been found frozen so well preserved that scientists were able to determine their exact fur color. Woolly rhinoceros, like the one found in 2020. 2 horns, the lower one longer than your forearm. They grazed under snowpack, sweeping it aside with that horn like a plow. Andrewsarchus, possibly the largest terrestrial mammalian predator in Earth's history, found in Mongolia and Russia, the size of a rhinoceros, with a jaw that could snap a modern bull's femur like a twig. And all of them are still here, right now. Underground. Here's where it gets genuinely strange. Because of climate change, Siberia's permafrost has started to melt, and every summer, new bodies fall out of the ground. Not skeletons, bodies, with skin, with organs, sometimes with undigested food still in their stomachs. In 2013, they found a mammoth named Yuka, a female so well preserved that scientists were able to collect samples from liquid blood, not frozen blood, liquid. She had been dead for 28,000 years. In 2022, an entire riverbank in Yakutia collapsed and exposed a layer of bones so dense that local researchers simply couldn't document them fast enough. But here's the part that goes beyond scientific curiosity. Alongside the animals, the permafrost has been preserving something else: ancient viruses and bacteria. In 2023, French researchers successfully reactivated a 48,500-year-old virus extracted from Siberian permafrost. Alive. Functional. That doesn't mean an apocalypse is coming. Probably. But every time another layer of Siberian permafrost thaws open, the ground releases things. And we don't always know exactly what's coming out. Siberia is the place where the worst extinction in Earth's history was born, where predators nobody talks about ruled for millions of years, where the Ice Age wasn't an animated movie. It was a real world full of monsters. And where those monsters are still lying beneath the surface right now, waiting for the ground to open. Next time you see a photo of the Siberian tundra, remember, it's not an empty place, it's a graveyard.